Hey, did you know that all the best stories have been told already? Like Cinderella, Romeo and Juliet, King Arthur, Dracula, Frankenstein. Those are all examples of stories so good that we've never had to rewrite them. And it's kind of true for our story too. We Nah tell you about an epic story with kings and queens and flying monkeys and a 10-headed villain and a bridge made of floating rocks. Now that sounds like the plot of a blockbuster movie, right? Well, it is. Except it has also one of the most important works in world literature. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. We make learning history easy and fun. Today, we'll explore a foundational text of world religions. So let's get to it. In the beginning, there was a king named Dasaratha ruling the kingdom of Ayodhya. Now, King Dasaratha was a devotee of the god Vishnu, and he wanted to perform an elaborate religious ritual called the Ashwamedha Yajna. You don't need to know much about it, except that it required a white horse to be released into the forest for 1 year, untouched and So the king sent his 4 sons to check if the horse was still free. And one of his sons, named Rama, found the horse, and then an angry demon tried to kill him. But Rama shot an arrow to defeat the demon and save the day. Now, being noble, Rama refused to take the credit for killing the demon, because he didn't want to hurt the demoness family. But Rama's father, King Dashirath, had no idea about this. When he heard that the demon was killed, he thought that his eldest son, Gathered, was responsible for it. And he was so proud that he proclaimed that his eldest would become king after him. Now, you can guess how the other 3 princes felt about this decision. They were upset and sad, but Rama, being the nice guy that he was, convinced them to accept their fate. But there was a twist in the tale. See? While the princes were in the forest with their father, the queen back in the palace gave birth to another set of and since she was the king's favorite wife, all the kingdom's resources and love went to these 4 kids. Now, you can imagine how the 4 princes felt about this. They were already feeling dejected from earlier, and now they were getting sidelined. So Rama and his brothers decided to move to the forest and live there for 14 years. Meanwhile, the royal court was divided over which prince would succeed the throne. And soon, the king got so stressed out that he fell ill. Before he died, he called Rama and told him to come back and become king. And as the first order as king, he banished his own son Koshala to the forest for 14 years. So now, both Rama and Koshala were going into exile. Now, one might think that this is the saddest part of the story, but actually, it's not. Because in the forest, both of them started to hone their skills and talents. Rama became a great archer. Koshala learned about strategy and warfare. And Lakshmana, Rama's younger brother, developed unmatched loyalty and courage. And the whole time they were living with nature and animals, away from the politics and drama of the kingdom. And if that doesn't sound like heaven, then I don't know what does. But then one day, while Rama and Sita were wandering through the forest, a demon spotted them and asked them to identify themselves. And as soon as he saw that they were the royals, he tried to kidnap Sita. Now, Rama may have been an ideal king, but he was also a devoted husband, and he wasn't going to let any harm come to his wife. So he immediately shot an arrow to kill the demon, but it missed. And that enraged the demon. He picked up an arrow from the ground, returned it back towards Rama, and before Rama could react, the arrow hit him in his knee. Now, this was no ordinary arrow. It was a celestial weapon blessed by the god of death himself. And its effect on Rama was that every step he took, another year would be shaved off his life. Now, at this point, Rama could have run away and lived out his remaining years in hiding. Or he could have called his brother and fought the demon together. But what he did instead was seek help from the sages and the hermit to cure him. Now, if you've watched any of our videos, you know that women in mythology usually brew magical potions. But in this case, the task fell on a monkey named Bali. Don't worry, he's not half a demon like Hanuman. This was a different monkey. But as a reward for saving Rama's life, Bali asked for a boon from Rama, and he chose immortality. So with the help of a magical herb, Bali handed the elixir of immortality to Rama, who then used it to cure his wound. And this act of kindness is remembered even today in the Hindu festival of Bali. But our story doesn't end here. In fact, it's only just begun. So Rama and his brothers were living a peaceful life in the forest. But one day some local girls came to them and complained about the troubles that they were facing. Ravana and his army were terrorizing their kingdom, and they needed help. Now, while helping others was in their nature, Rama knew that Ravana was a powerful demon king, and challenging him would risk his wife's life. And as you know, Rama loved his wife more than anything in the world. But Lakshmana was furious. He didn't care about Ravana's powers or the risk to their lives. He just wanted to protect his people and defend the innocent. And this shows us the difference between selfless action and acting out of ego. See, Lakshmana was so full of rage that he immediately went to Ravana's kingdom and challenged his army. Now, naturally, Ravana's soldiers beat him and tied him up. Just when they were about to kill him, Hanuman jumped in and rescued him. And while returning, Lakshmana reminded Hanuman to mark Ravana's city with the tilak, a mark that would ensure divine protection later. Now, while the plan was set in motion, Rama was meditating peacefully, completely unaware of what was happening. And this time, when Hanuman came back, he was carrying a message from Vibhishana, Ravana's younger brother. He invited Rama to come to Lanka and take the throne, promising to support him. But Ravana wasn't ready to give up, so he sent his warriors to stop them. But Hanuman was waiting for this moment. He expanded his size too many times his original form and easily lifted the mountain of Then he walked through the ocean towards Lanka, placing the mountain as a path behind him, so that Rama and his army could follow him. But as soon as they reached the shore, Hanuman dropped the mountain. Now, this would have been devastating if the heroes hadn't used the tilak to mark the city, but thanks to that, all the stones floated back into the air and landed safely on the ground, forming a bridge across the ocean. You might wonder why we put a bridge there in the first place. Well, because it's a Hindu epic, and Hindus love symbolism. The bridge represented the path to righteousness, but it was also a reminder that the journey would be difficult and require unwavering focus. Now, as soon as Ravana realized that Rama was coming to fight him, he ran and hid in his fortress. And as you can imagine, his soldiers couldn't defeat Rama. So, one by one, they lost their heads. Literally. As soon as the head was cut off, 9 more would grow back in its place. But it didn't matter, because Rama was ready for this. And each time a head was chopped off, he burned it with a special arrow. And eventually, the 10th head was burnt beyond recognition. And that's when Ravana knew he was defeated. And then he begged Rama for mercy, but it was too late. Rama banished him from his kingdom and took Sita back to Ayodhya. Now, while this was a happy ending for everyone, except Ravana, the Ramayana doesn't end here. It has 2 more parts called the Uttara Kanda, which talks about Rama's return to Ayodhya and his rule as king. And the last 20 chapters talk about his 14-year exile and his separation from Sita. The entire poem is filled with intense battles, a kidnapping, and a lot of philosophical discussions about dharma bhakti and karma bhakti for us. The takeaway is simple. The Ramayana reminds us of the importance of staying true to our values and doing the right thing even when it's hard. The story of Rama's banishment shows us that even the noblest of people can be tested and face adversity, yet they can rise above personal feelings and do what's right for everyone. Today, it's celebrated through festivals like Ram Navami and Dussehra, and through dramatic stage performances called Ramalala, which bring communities together year after year. And that's all we have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe for more mythological tales. We'll see you next time.